right. Well, welcome to another review. We are glad you came in today. Glad you're actually with us and still subscribing and checking this stuff out. It's always fun for us to do. So to see somebody else actually enjoy it and give us some feedback on it. I've been enjoying the comments we've been getting, so glad you guys have those. Today we're going to talk about another trilogy, some movies that we really like from our past, and we've always got these in spades, so we're just going to keep on going with it. Today with me, as always, is RSNK.
Hello.
We are going to be discussing the Lord of the Rings trilogy, and we got a lot of opinions on these movies. We think that we have a lot of good ones, so we're just going to run with it and see where it goes.
If not opinions, good banter.
Yeah,
at least.
Exactly.
There's 3 movies, which is why it's called a trilogy.
Mm-hmm.
And first one's called Fellowship of the Ring.
3 movies, so therefore 3 opinions. And
Yeah, that's all we got. Just 3 opinions. It's over.
And it's over.
I will say Fellowship, nice.
Mm-hmm.
I will say Two Towers, okay. I will say, thank God it's over. No.
Yeah. Return to the ending. All right, we're here. We
Return
got
to sender.
do it. It's going to make it happen. So, starting off with the 3, obviously we have the one that started the whole thing off, gave us a good idea into what Peter Jackson's view of the whole trilogy is going to be.
Middle Earth.
Middle Earth and all that. We had the Fellowship of the Ring, which kind of kickstarts the whole idea. And I think it was really cool to note that this was probably one of the first times they ever started out with the idea of, we're going to do 3 movies, but we're going to film all 3 of them at once. Back to back.
To back.
Yeah. We're just going to go ahead and get all this out of the way, so that way there's not a lot of weird continuity errors and issues in between movie to movie. Mm-hmm. When you're just kind of moving from one to the next, it really kind of keeps it all fresh in your mind and keeps it all cohesive. And
they're all
again,
roughly the same age they're supposed to be.
You'll come to find that with us, we really enjoy continuity. When they take the time to actually think the story all the way out so that it actually flows into each other, as opposed to, oh, well, this happened, so I guess this needs to happen now. Oh, and that happened, but we accidentally did this, now we got to go back and figure out how to make that correct. Yeah. We're talking to you, X-Men.
Ooh,
so
ouch.
It's nice to see everybody just kind of have like a good, cohesive idea, one straight shot all the way.
One director, one story, one vision.
One direction.
One desire.
Probably really like these movies too. So.
And I would say that it's really, nice that a lot of the actors were fairly unknown. I mean, some of them are well-known B actors, but none of them are like A-list until this movie came out.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and almost obscure too. I think some of these people didn't really ever think they would work with each other. I think I can't ever think of the actor's name who played Gimli, but seeing him in the Indiana Jones movies and then seeing him in this was like a good transition, because the guy just had a great, big, boisterous laugh. He was a big personality. He's a tall guy. Suddenly seeing him shrunk down into a dwarf was hilarious.
And he was still very entertaining as a character,
and still a big personality and still a big character throughout the movie. And you just, you couldn't watch a scene without going, when's Gimli going to pop in and say something hilarious?
Right, exactly.
Also good to note, too, that there was somebody who actually realized that a movie generally only needs one comic relief.
Yeah.
Yeah, as far as Marvel's concerned, I don't know why we suddenly decided that, we need to have, like, every character have their own comic relief moments, but it kind of threw me off when you were trying to pick out which one it was, and seeing everybody throw their hat in and try and make an attempt.
You had a fellowship, and for the most part, the characters fit that, whatever they were supposed to be. Like, so the hobbits are generally happy-go-lucky, very emotional creatures.
Yes.
So they can be funny, but they're not like the comic relief necessarily.
Yeah. They can at least be ambiguous, because a lot of their mentality is just like the happy girlfriends. They are huggy. They are talking about their feelings. They do enjoy laughing. They're not a bunch of uptight men.
Yeah, the world of men.
Yeah, not a lot of social barriers there, which is kind of interesting. That kind of took their characters in some interesting directions for a while, and they almost went too far into assuming things about them, but then they kind of pulled it back a little bit. So,
Reel it in. Reel it in.
With all acting, there is definitely those overacting moments, and I feel like they had a lot of them with the Hobbits, but overall, it really gave you a good idea of what kind of camaraderie they had, and why they stuck together so harshly through thick and thin.
And I really appreciate they start off with just, the label of the movie, whatever the movie was going to be called, and then they have some voiceover, or they move into the story. Mm-hmm. And the first one especially, the voiceover with Cate Blanchett, and talking about all the rings and the Ring of Power and how it all kind of came to form, and Sauron and his evil power into one ring.
Just a quick synopsis to bring you up to speed on where everybody's at right now.
And then they show you a map of Middle Earth, so then they end up in the Shire, and you're like, oh, the Shire. What a lovely place. Very green.
It's all happy and everything's wonderful and bright all the time.
And all of a sudden you start listening in and you hear this. There's a wizard riding in a cart. Full of fireworks, and all of a sudden, we're hanging out with Gandalf, and we're gonna go celebrate Bilbo's 111th birthday.
Yeah, His 11th birthday.
Yeah, 11th.
11th.
Yeah,
That's
and we're gonna smoke a little pipe weed,
Yeah.
and we're gonna drink some ale, and we're gonna hang out with the
blow a few smoke ships. Yeah.
Woo, it's a good time. So anyway,
got introduced to a lot of characters with that. You got to see Samwise, got to see Frodo, got to see Bilbo for a little bit. So it kind of give you an idea of what the main characters were in the Shire there before it really started to open you up into a much broader world of characters. So I think that was a really good pacing for them to kind of bring you down to the Middle Earth, bring you down to Earth, so they can see like how the little folk live and all that are kind of outside of the politics and the ridiculousness that is the rest of the world going on there. So
our own happy little center.
Yeah, kind of started you off on a nice happy note before things really started to take off.
Bilbo shows a little strain on his life because Gandalf's like, well, you haven't aged a day. I don't know how long it's been since you've seen him. Could have been like 4 or 5 years. Maybe it was 20. Mm-hmm. Anyway, hasn't aged a day.
Yeah. But obviously quite a lot's happened from The Hobbit to The Lord of the Rings.
60 years have passed.
It's been quite a bit
going on here. And he's got this ring that's poisoning his mind slowly. Mm-hmm. So he's got a couple moments where he seems a little evil, like, why should I keep it?
Which could also make you argue the point, too, that Bilbo had a much better resistance towards the ring than Frodo ever did.
Oh, snap!
Yeah.
He said it. Mm-hmm. Well, there is a reason why he is the greatest little hobbit of them all.
Indeed.
I'm just saying.
Not only because he's a great storyteller, but also just because he's crafty. He's wasn't a thief from before, but he stepped into the role quite well because he was little and was able to slip in and out of places unnoticed, which, come to find out, apparently people in Middle-earth just don't really look anywhere below a 3-foot line. It just anything below that, it's invisible. I can't see it. So interesting to note there that these guys were really good and stealthy and cracked about getting around, but let's be honest here. After a while, you would notice little kids running through a battle, wondering what the heck.
Well, when you got calloused, big, hairy feet, it's really quiet. It's like sneakers.
Yeah,
really, really quiet.
The pitter patter of furry feet.
Gandalf goes back to Gondor, and he reads about this ring of power and what have you. He goes back and finds out, that little.
Rather than just leaping down Bilbo's throat off the bat, he wanted to look into things a little bit. To be like, now what is this ring that you've been carrying around for so many years that I've obviously overlooked for so long?
And Frodo had it safe and secret, which is good scene as well. And he basically tells him what the whole story of the ring, and I got to go talk to my supervisor about this. And
got to go consult the Saruman here real quick.
And then he sends him on his journey after finding out that Samwise is dropping eaves, and sends them both off. And they run into, little friends of theirs and Pip and Mary on the road to the Prancing Pony.
Thus brought together your Fellowship of Hobbits.
Yeah, the Fellowship of Hobbits.
Obviously, you could tell these people were going to be with you for the rest of the show at this point because why would they else bring them all together and suddenly they're all on this journey together?
And the ring race were set out, and the ring race is really, really cool. A bunch of men that are poisoned by their rings. Yeah. And then, one of the coolest parts of the movie is where, Saruman and Gandalf are talking. And you can always tell Christopher Lee's always got a little bit of sinisterness about him. You always tell that he's probably going to turn at some point.
Something in his voice.
Yeah, turn into something else. So he tells him, that the halfling's leaf is clearly slowed his mind because the ring of power had been under his nose this whole time. And then they get into this fight, which is awesome fight. One of my favorite scenes of the whole
Get
day.
to see wizards tossing each other around.
You've elected the will of pain. It's very entertaining stuff.
Would have been cool to see an actual staff fight, though, or bow staff.
Oh, yeah, sure.
But,
But you get to see a little bow staffing later on in this trilogy.
Yeah, a little bit.
And then,
lots of bow staffs getting blown up by magic,
Yeah. In the Prancing Pony, they run into Strider or Aragorn. And you kind of think Aragorn's a shady character.
At first,
At first, but he seems to be pretty spot on and cool, throwing apples at people, hitting them in the head. And then they, are hanging out. And they
I think he's just a cool side character at first, like the happy loner or whatever.
No, he's a really important guy. And then you go to find out that these ring wraiths, especially when you put the ring on, can find you, and they're just
sending out a beacon. Hey, look at that! It's right here.
They're figuring out where
the whole time,
following him, and they stab Frodo because Frodo's not much of a fighter. He's more of a drinker.
Well, this kind of gives you an early interpretation of the hobbits just kind of being definitely more passive in a lot of ways, and you get to see them actually develop as characters over time and become more fierce and actually get into the fight more, and get into the fray.
In comes Aragorn's girlfriend, elvish lady, and she
doesn't want to close her eyes.
And Ben Affleck starts playing with animal crackers on her belly, which is really
very strange. Wrong movie.
And then
Liv Tyler, not okay.
Yeah. Anyway, so Liv Tyler comes trouncing in, and she says,
"You
want him?
The entire time.
Come and claim him." Whatever. And so they go to Rivendell, where the elves hang out. Her dad, and he's like, "Mr. Anderson, you see, there's this one ring. The rule." Oh, wait. I think I'm getting things confused about that. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah. Anyways, make it to Rivendell to actually start talking about this ring to see what they're going to do about it, thus forming the Fellowship. Because of course we had a lot of leaders of different factions all getting together in one spot.
Humans,
why not put all these guys together to help this little dude on his journey to take this ring to toss it into a furnace?
Yeah. So you get the Fellowship, which includes 4 hobbits. I'm not going to say their names because I don't feel like it. And you got 1 elf, you got 1 dwarf, and you got 2 dudes, men, and then you got a wizard. And they go for a walk. They go for a hike.
Yeah. They set off on a journey, a long hike, to take them through many adventures and many peril.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen.
With you shall not pass!
I will use that for every day because that one scene because it's great. Because Mr. Paul the Murals and Gandalf and the Green Epic Boys and check this off staff.
That's actually the Holy Grail. That's okay, I appreciate it. And he goes by and he's like, in the realm of elves and hang out with Lady Gleadria. I can't say her name. Basically, Kate Blanchett.
Kate Blanchett.
Yeah, Kate Blanchett.
Yeah.
And just, I wish just conceal them in mind stuff. Warriors starting to get equipment.
Oh, you're all just you're not giving you all my insights here, but there's still people see you there waiting to do so.
And you got Frodo's Link in this ring also, and she freaks out. So they actually go on their way over, take a run into their own clothes and clothes. That's great. So go back and tell something you weren't doing that. 4. Yeah, it was 15. Around 15 right there. So on the river, there's orcs. One guy that they pulled out of nowhere, basically on the road, you jump down there on the river. It's really cool. 2 kings, same stuff. And they actually decided they hang out with the entire time. They go waterfall. I love Pip and his singing. It's good stuff, losing...
I'll give him some credit for that. You guys got a pretty good singing voice. I think it's for me, it's always an awkward tangent in any movie when somebody starts randomly bursting into song, or it goes along with it. Obviously, there was a very depressing moment of the Return of the King when he was actually singing about it. But I guess just for me, with singing always having some kind of an awkward note to it, but that if it comes in a spot that I'm not ready for it, it kind of makes me a little bit clammed up, a little bit like
there was a bit of recoil.
And then,
it's like,
oh, okay, now I'm lulled in, like a good song will do.
And then we got plenty of battles to go through, We got elephants.
Elephants, yeah. Something that the Game of Thrones is missing, unfortunately, and spoken of, but I guess they couldn't afford them, and luckily Lord of the Rings could.
I enjoyed watching ghosts fight and take down an elephant, but it was more fun, in a sense, to watch Legolas, legalistic. Seeing him take down an elephant was a lot of fun.
And sliding down the trunk like a badass.
It still counts as one.
Yeah.
It only counts as one.
And then I don't know. There's so many moments with Frodo and Sam where Frodo, Sam. Oh, come on!
I think somebody put a counter on there to see how many times they actually said it in the movie. Ridiculous.
Yeah.
I mean, the writers just really phoned that one in, I guess. They didn't really need a whole lot for dialogue as long as we were saying Sam or Frodo.
Best Sam moment is when he, fights the giant spider.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
That was entertaining.
Yeah. All the moments when he actually pins Gollum down to the ground and lays a few into him.
Calls him a douche.
Yeah, I think he did slip a douche in there at one point. I don't think anybody else noticed it. You pointed it out to me, and I was just like, we should almost rewind that and watch it again. I think he pretty much said douche there.
Yeah, he's okay. Douche.
What?
Sam, you dirty...
Maybe it was some Hobbit term that we didn't know, and he just kind of mumbled it a little bit, and they didn't feel the need to go back and edit that correctly. I don't know.
It was fun watching him beat up Gollum a little bit. Anyway, the battle was very entertaining, and then the second battle, maybe not so much.
We did have a lot of battles. There's some disjointedness where it became where it's like, and there's another battle, and there's this little in-between dialogue, and then another battle, and then a little bit in-between dialogue. And then let's not even, take out the fact that as cool as all those battles were, lots of good culmination, it kind of brought a lot of the story to a close. It had 7 endings.
It just kept ending.
It just ended, and then it had another ending,
The
and then it
Eagles.
had another ending.
The Eagles, Gandalf.
The Eagles.
The Eagles
Gandalf.
are coming.
Yeah.
Eagles.
Oh, look, Frodo's awake. Let's all awkwardly laugh together while the hobbits sit there and jump on the bed. Weirdly and awkwardly. Ha, 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 ha. What? Okay, we're all happy. This is all over and everything, but I mean, I think there should be a little bit more of dialogue of, oh my gosh, when you did this, when I did that, and oh, I went through this, and oh, here's this whole crazy... No, let's just sit there and all laugh awkwardly, like this is just like the, we all know the cameras are here, let's just ham it up for them for a while. Completely
Slow motion.
disjointed. Just really weird and awkward,
Yeah.
but... And then a few of the other endings were good too, but it's just kind of funny how you watched it, and it's just like, okay, the movie's over. Oh, but wait. Oh, now the movie's over. No, but wait. It's like there was rolling credit scenes 7 times in a row.
Well, it was like 3.5 hours anyway. And you're like- but I think the best ending had to be the crowning the king ending. That was probably the best ending.
That was a good one. Everybody's all there. Had another song.
Yeah. Well, he sang for like 2 seconds, and he's like, "Oh, hey, that's my woman.
Yeah.
Hey,
What's
that's
up? Hey, you're not
And-
dead. Good to know.
My friends, you bow to no one."
Yeah.
You know.
You may all be hobbits, and this is completely foreign to you, but guess what? You're all the badasses here.
Yeah. You're the reason why this ring was. Boop.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, watching Gollum go, "No, I just want to hold it up a little bit."
Yeah. That last moment is like, I'm just so happy. I'm burning alive.
Yeah. It took forever for that thing to finally.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway.
And it just goes to show you how long it takes evil to, concentrated, pure gold evil to really just melt itself away in the proper fires of Mordor. Yeah.
Yeah. I think the next time I go for a hike on a mountain, I'm going to bring a gold ring
Mm-hmm.
and about 6 of my friends. And we'll try to betray each other along the way.
Yeah,
Maybe
have
get
lots
split
of
off.
long, arduous dialogue about whether or not we should throw it in.
But two of
we
them-
feel okay with carrying this burden or not.
2 of them have to be really, really close.
Yes,
I mean, really, really
awkwardly,
close. Awkwardly close. To make us all really like. And one of them has to die sacrificing himself.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, it just has to happen. I don't know. Maybe it'll be Warrior.
Yeah.
I don't know, but it
Sorry
just
to
makes
whoever I'm going to
sense.
bite a finger off of. That's going to be
Yeah.
awkward, but it's all for the
But
good.
ultimately,
of a good day hike.
Once we get up to the mountain of Garfield or whatever, and we just chuck that ring off the mountain, we'll be like, "Well, that was really worth it, wasn't it?"
Mm-hmm.
It was like 8 hours.
Yeah, 8 hours.
Woo!
8 hours that could be spread out into practically a year's spans of time if it were a big epic fantasy story. But hey, good 8 hours for us today.
Oh yeah, 4 of them have to be barefoot.
Yes,
It has to happen.
as awkward as that might be and
Yeah,
dirty.
and
But
very
hey,
dirty.
I've got hairy enough feet for it, so I guess I could do that.
Yeah. Anyway, I would just say, watch the extended cuts.
Yes.
There's a lot of
Basically, I think what we're all trying to summarize and say here is there was a lot of stuff that was missed out on because of editing room floor cuttage, and we just need to bring that all back in. So if you really want to get the full story, the true effect of what they were really trying to go for, you need to see the extended cut. Sure, get a good brief synopsis in the theater, but once you get home, once it gets out to DVD, you don't even need to buy it, really. I mean, you could probably rent it somewhere. There's all kinds of avenues and streaming ways that you can see this over again, but watch the extended cut. If you really want a good idea of what they were really trying to go for, that really gives you the full idea.
and the graphics stand the test of time.
Yeah.
We don't need 4K. We don't need super
Well,
CGI.
for movies that came out in, late 90s into 2000s?
Yeah, 1999 was the first one, and I still like The Fellowship the most.
Yeah.
Honestly, gets the whole thing started, and it feels very real, and I appreciate that about it. I appreciate the effects.
I would
appreciate
agree
the
saying that probably
directing.
overall I like that movie the most, but there's still plenty of good ones that I could
Sure.
pretty much just take awesomeness from each movie and make one good movie.
I would say I really
Not that
like-
you need to, but just for my sake.
I'd say I really like The Lord of the Rings
Yeah.
over The Hobbit. Oh,
Ooh.
I said it.
Ooh.
I said it. I'm going to say it again.
Yeah.
It should
Which
have
brings us into a great wrap-up of this whole idea here, because we do need to talk about the Hobbit trilogy a little bit. So I think basically what we could say about that is, in a quick wrap-up here, is that basically you should take 3 movies, all 3 of them, take the good parts and just, one good movie.
one amazing movie.
Yeah.
There is one edit out there in the world of cyberspace.
Somebody took the time.
That's amazing. It's a great movie.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, you got 3 mediocre, super CGI, bad love triangle movies that I don't need.
And I'd kind of like to see that a little bit, because you saw that edit, but then you tried to find it for me, and then we
Couldn't
watched
find
a
it.
different one that did an okay job. But so they did cut out a lot of stuff you didn't need, but there was still a lot of extra stuff in
Poorly
there.
edited together,
Yeah.
unfortunately. That guy, I don't know.
he just doesn't know what he's doing.
Yeah,
But the other
basically,
guy,
just like
he did a
to
good
go
job.
from 3 movies that you need to watch the extended cut of to get all the great little extra tidbits of to a trilogy that you really just need to figure out how to try and break it down to one movie.
Like one book, like it was.
Yeah.
One book. And it would be the greatest adventure
Mhm.
and what lies ahead.
So basically, the Hobbit trilogy that should have been a movie. The
Yeah.
end.
The end.
Yeah.
Should have been one movie. The end.
Should have been, could have been, would have been. All opinions, all things that we think we could do better and should have been done better, and we have that in spades. So if you like that, if you enjoy it, we appreciate you stopping in again to have a little bit of a moment with us. If you want to take the time to like, share, and subscribe, we'd certainly appreciate it. The end credit's going to yell at you a little bit, but that's okay. Take it in jest because it's meant to be a joke. And it's also a quote, too. If any of you actually can pick that out, it's been here a couple of videos so far. If you know it, go ahead and drop it down in the comments. We'd like to see that. Love that interaction there. So thanks for stopping in again, Artisan. Always enjoy the time and the banter.
Always.
That's what we had to say about that. So thanks, and we'll see you in the next one.
Yeah. Later.